But shifting focus to the metal space then, and reports suggest that the government is weighing an export duty on iron ore as early as October 2nd. In fact, the report also highlights a stern warning that is issued to the industry by the government that if domestic production does not pick up and prices are not halved, authorities may not just impose duties but also could consider a blanket ban on all iron ore exports. To discuss the possible impact of this and what this could mean for the domestic iron ore and the steel industry, we are now joined by Dhruv Goel, CEO at Bigmint. Dhruv, afternoon, and thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. These are source-based reports for now, but if at all government were to impose a blanket restriction on export of iron ore, what kind of impact do you foresee on India's domestic iron ore industry on account of this?
Thanks a lot, Ashisha. There are, if you understand that there was a meeting held by the Commerce Ministry with all the stakeholders, largely attended by all the top steel makers, iron ore miners, state officials, and three different ministries. So the government's concern is that the steel production is growing at 8 to 9% per annum, whereas the iron ore production is growing at 4 to 5% per annum. And if you see the national steel policy, according to government's projection, the iron ore demand by 2030 would be approximately 430 million ton. Currently, we are producing approximately 290 million ton. So this is the concern which government has, and this concern has been raised by the industry people that in case if we do not increase the iron ore production in the due time, then we will have to import iron ore, or will not be able to will not be able to make competitive steel in India. So on this regards, Ministry of Commerce, which the meeting was chaired by Commerce Minister Shri Piyush Goel ji, and there was several discussions around the iron ore supplies, and one of the discussion that took place was on increasing or uniforming the iron ore export duty. Currently, export duty is only applicable on grades above 58% Fe, and below that it is all exempted from duty.
Understood. And what kind of impact do you then see on steel prices and steel manufacturing? Because iron ore is a key raw material for steel manufacturing as well. In fact, there was a report which I was reading where miners are saying that domestic steel makers lack the technology to process low grade ore. Is this true? Because steel makers have rejected this claim.
It will not have a very significant impact on the iron ore prices or demand because India exports approximately 10% of the total production, and most of it is low grade, and it has to be beneficiated because without upgrading the quality of the ore, it cannot be directly used in any kind of iron or steel making. It is not that the country lacks the technology, it is about the commercial viability of the beneficiation. These beneficiation are located slightly far from the mining area. And also there are many, clearances which needs to be taken, and there are a lot of hindrances to beneficiate. You need a lot of water availability for the beneficiation process. So I would not say that it is, because of the technical lack of technology, countries not able to benefit. It is more of a commercial, angle.
Understood. And if you can tell us and bifurcate India's export of iron ore to the world, which countries do we export to? And if we stop exporting to the world, are those countries likely to get impacted?
No, so India is a very small. India contributes a very small portion in the total exports. The seaborne export. Most of our exports go to China. China is the largest importer of iron ore with over 1 billion tons of ore being imported on an annual basis. India exports approximately 30 million ton, which is again less than 2% what China imports. So even if there is any kind of duty uniformed or increased or rationalized, it will not have impact on the global seaborne supplies. And also, we feel that even if duties have to be changed, it is not that the entire iron ore exports will go down. There are miners still at this duty. They will have to export for several reasons because in case if they do not export, they will not be able to stock these material at their mine end. So this is their compulsion to export. Maybe their margins may come down, but any kind of change in duty may reduce the export volumes for sure.
Understood. So that's as far as exports are concerned. And China is the country which we export to the most, although as a percentage of total exports in the global market, India is just a small fraction of that. Thank you so much, Dhruv, for joining us with all those details and helping us understand what kind of impact could restriction on export of iron ore from India have on the global iron ore market. Thanks so much for joining us today.